Welcome to Applied Technology Podcast. Talking technology, you're talking applied. Hello and welcome to another ATG Podcast. We're so excited to start this year with very important topics that you're going to want to listen to, especially when it has to do with technology, especially when it has to do with everything we use from day to day in this really crazy technological era. With me today, I have Lori Barnes once again with us. She'll go ahead and introduce herself in a bit. I have Mark with us today, and today we're also joined by Tim. They'll go ahead and introduce themselves in a bit, their titles here, and also how long they've been in the company and what they do. Today, our topic of discussion is body-worn cameras. So this is very, very important. We're going to talk about why they're needed, who can use them, and whatnot. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start.
My name is Lori Barnes, President, CEO, and I think the body-worn camera is so cool.
Yeah, Mark Alexander, been here going on 14 years, systems manager. Excited about the body-worn cameras, excited about it.
I know, especially nowadays. It's like every video goes viral, so it's very intense images sometimes to like very funny things. I mean, especially when it comes to police officers. I mean, we've all seen those car crashes. Anyways, there's a lot that can be discussed on that. And today we also have Tim.
Yeah, hi, my name is Tim Barnes. I'm the senior system engineer. I've been here for 10 plus years. So I've lost track of how long I've been here.
There you go.
Seen a lot of technologies in my day.
You just enjoy it. You enjoy it every day, so it's like you just lost count.
Lost count of days.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's get started. What is a body-worn camera?
Well, the first aspect would be it allows the person to have video of their daily job. So you have the ability to record different aspects of what you're doing. Maybe it is a training particular incident where you're training a crew and you can't take everyone up the ladder, but you can have one person go up the ladder, get to the rooftop. I'm using one of our scenarios because we use these. Or maybe climbing a tower where you can't have your whole fleet climb up the tower, but you need to train them how to work or install a particular piece of equipment. This allows you to have the camera on your chest area, maybe shoulder area, and record the movements that you're doing so that when you come back down, you can replay the video and audio.
Yeah, it's hands-free, so you can work with your tools. For some of our tower climbers that are up wanting to video something for a training aspect, it's nice to not hold a video camera or a cell phone or whatever's in your hand. This actually locks onto your chest. Pretty lightweight, which is nice. It's not putting the weight down on your body. So to have your hands free to be able to show what you're doing or actually just focusing on what you're doing and not worrying about anything else.
But, if you record the situation, and everything that's up there, it's easier to just look at the footage and see what you need to do rather than being up and down all the time.
And that's what's nice with some of these body cameras. You can actually, if you set up depending on where you're working and depending on where the software is stored. So if you have to set up on somebody's laptop, get a Wi-Fi signal up to them, you can actually view them live. Some of them will allow you to view the camera instead of not only being recorded, but live footage. So you could see while they're working what's going on instead of having to wait for that. Because a lot of the recording, they'll if you're off the network, you have to wait for it to come back on the network or have it charge where you're in the facility like a mall. Say your security, the main security guy could log into the camera and actually see the live footage as it's going on.
Right.
Instead of having to wait, okay, let's look at the recording. It's like, hey, let's look at it right now while it's recording.
Yeah, and for offer suggestions as well or anything like that would be much more easier going out live. Now, these cameras, they're not your like big old 1990s camera. these are some small things. It's very convenient, right?
Yeah, they're about 5 inches by. They're small. It fits in the palm of my hand.
Okay,
it's not.
There's actually some that are actually a little bit smaller too that are out and even more lightweight, which is very beneficial. Because you don't have something just tugging on you the whole time. So there's a lot of really neat features with them.
So this takes us to the next question. Who can use body-worn cameras, right? This isn't just BPD. This is just anyone who can.
Your average everyday person can really use it. But if you're wanting for a tool, you can have security. You can have tow truck drivers or people in general.
Or factory workers. You can literally anyone.
Yeah.
Because it's job security, not only for them, the company, but it's just, hey, things being done right, or are they in the correct area? It's just overall protects the company and the employee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you go to
It
the
does.
tow truck drivers, you have somebody that's going to get their their car towed, and there's the customer says, "Well, you damaged my car." Well, that's it helped improve the evidence that's collected with those video
Right.
or with the body worn camera with their video. So the nice thing about it is they can say, "Look, I videoed the whole car before and after, and there was no damage. The damage was actually done prior." So that person's kind of held accountable to that. So I think it really improves the work ethic. And it could be that, a tow truck might have pulled the car a little hard and scraped the ground,
Yeah.
I don't know their everyday work with how they do it, but, because I know there's different vehicles. But, it can hold that person accountable in that aspect. But even going with security, the security guards are every day put in different situations. So that can actually protect them. So if, an incident happens, let's say that somebody has to get tackled and taken to the ground, they want to look at that video evidence with that body-worn camera to say, what escalated to that?
Yeah.
So that could either protect the security guard or it can actually protect the person. So and that's where I say accountability, because it can go on both ends, because you don't always see both sides of the story. By having the body worn camera, that actually helps kind of facilitate what happened.
Yeah, we've actually have had these cameras go into hospitality scenarios, and it's used not only for customer service training scenarios, but if there is an altercation or a misunderstanding, then you have the actual footage.
Yeah.
There's no, well, he said, she
That wasn't
said.
me.
Yeah, that
They're on
wasn't
the
me.
video.
That's an imposter. No. There are, it becomes sky's the limit for when you're looking at this type of technology where you could use it. And it needs to be used for beneficial, not as a I gotcha type thing. It's very, very clear video, very clean audio. It is not a muffled scenario, and you get a very nice picture.
Can create trust too. If somebody sees that I'm having a body worn camera on,
They're gonna
look
think
at
twice.
it and say, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't do that." So it kind of creates
gotta
that
be
that
honest.
trust too.
Yeah.
So, which is a good thing,
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And one of the good features about this is that you can program them to always be on. And most of them are defaulted like that, where as soon as you take it off the charger, it's recording right away. So there's no worry about having to turn it on, turn it off. I'd say it works a good 8-hour work shift, so you don't have to worry about the camera turning off in the middle of your day.
Yeah, and there's certain situations too that you can actually turn the camera off. So
If need
Yeah,
be.
it's
If-
fully
if
pro.
needed, so-
A lot of these cameras are fully programmable, so you can have it turn off. But most of the time,
Right.
customers want the camera always running. Not saying there's not trust, but it's like
But
you
you
don't
never
want to
know.
have to think. It's like, did they turn their camera back on?
Yeah.
Is it running?
well, it's increased safety.
Yeah.
It's,
It's always there and it's
Right.
always running. So
Well, because you never know what's going to happen in those situations that
Well, yeah.
anything could happen. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have that running at a constant. And then, if you want your private time, lunch, a break, and just in general, you can just click your
That's
button,
also
turn
an
it off. It's
option.
that simple.
Yeah. And that's a good thing you were kind of explaining a little bit, Tim, how it works, because that was my next question. What else do we need to know about these body worn cameras as far as how they work?
some of these are, well, at least most of the ones that I've definitely dealt with they only run off of Wi-Fi. So you definitely have to make sure there's Wi-Fi coverage. There is a piece of software that you can have mostly on a server, but you can't have it on a laptop or anywhere. Just the server would be more for the recording side of it, but if you want to view it live, like I mentioned earlier, you can throw it on a laptop, then have a little hotspot or off your laptop if it has Wi-Fi. If it could be an access point, you can have the camera connect to that, and then they could view footage right there live. So we're talking about in a tower. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Then you got to get the right type of camera mount for either it could be on the chest, or some of them have a clip so you can put it off to the side. If you're wearing a safety vest or a harness, you can have it clipped off to the side or in the middle. They do have a belt clip. There's options on how to wear this, and I believe most of them have the capability of multiple Wi-Fi settings. So you could have different SSIDs for Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi names with the passwords, and it could mesh or connect to any Wi-Fi system. If you know they're walking through a certain area that has different Wi-Fi names, you can have each one of those programmed, and it will talk to those networks.
Okay. And how does the pixelation work as far as being too high in the tower? Does that affect it at all?
No,
Perfect.
it's like a normal camera. Nothing happens unless someone's covering it.
Mm.
Well, and that can actually go into improved trainings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have one guy up on the tower where you got to talk to a guy that's 100 plus feet below you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually talk into the camera, and then once you're done with all of what you're doing on top of that tower, if it's installing an antenna or whatever you're doing, you come down and then you can train that crew on what you did. So it really enhances that. So that's the good part of it. Now, the bad part of the training is, why did you cover up the camera with a jacket?
Yeah.
Well, and what we're finding is that once crews get used to it, it's human nature, right? To be afraid or fearful at the beginning of any new technology.
Yeah.
But we're finding people get used to it, they adapt to it, they kind of enjoy it because now they're able to help or prove their worth, maybe, or establish, hey, I did this correct.
They're great cameras. They work.
Yeah.
It's another pair of eyes. And it's a recording pair of eyes.
Right.
And you can always see what happens. We talked about training, see it live.
And maybe, Laura, you can help us out with as far as the data retrieval. How does that work out?
Well, typically what you would do is you pull the cameras from a chassis, a charging bank,
Okay.
and when you take it back after your shift and you reconnect into that chassis, then that's when the data downloads. Now, again, technology is moving so fast. It is starting to change in real time to where you could start streaming. But most of the systems that are still pretty tried and true are the ones that you pick them up in the morning or whenever your shift starts, you go about your day, and then you come back and place it into a chassis. Then you have a software program that manages and manipulates the data.
Yeah, if you get the ones that are the Wi-Fi units, they'll upload as soon as they're connected to the Wi-Fi. So you have enough storage in some of these cameras that will last you your 8-hour shift or longer. There's variations of them on storage and battery life. But yeah, your non-Wi-Fi units, yes, you do have to go back to the chassis, charge it up, and it'll upload straight to the computer or server, wherever the software is stored. But the newer ones with the Wi-Fi, as soon as they're connected to a known Wi-Fi, it's uploading right there on the spot. So it's nothing stored on the camera; it's stored in the cloud.
I mean, this is very important as well as any type of technology topic. It's very important to know about and to learn about, have some knowledge of it, especially in, like I mentioned, this technology time that we live in. They can call in at any time. I'm going to provide the emails of both Mark and Tim. If anybody's interested in learning a little bit more about these products, they can always call them, email them. But anything else you guys would like to, anything else you'd like to add?
I think that we would just love to demo it to you.
Oh,
We would just love to show customers how we use it, how they could use it. We love to think tank.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of things that we've thought of for usefulness of a body-worn camera.
So I'm more than happy to have people maybe come in also, check it out, see
Absolutely.
if they want it. That's really good. That's really awesome. It's very transparent. And when customers feel like they can have that transparency and have someone explain to them, a one-on-one as well. I think we've mentioned it in other podcasts as well, but it's like if they call in, if they call Mark, they call a Tim, or even, if Lori, she's the boss, so she's busy all the time. But if she were to talk to you, hey, I mean, you get a one-on-one. You don't get these press 1, press 2 after 30 minutes. You've spoken to no one but machines. So that
We
for
want
customer important.
That live phone answer.
Yes, for sure. That's also very important.
Yeah, definitely. They're you got to have it in your hands. The more the first time you see it, you'll definitely understand it and see the benefits of it. So it's an awesome tool.
Yeah. Why don't I just go ahead and invite anyone who's interested in this to come in, check it out here. Like Mark said, fill it out, see how it is. And I mean, definitely, whether it be at work or personal use or whichever, it's definitely needed. It's something very important and something very useful nowadays too. Gentlemen, Lori, thank you so much for joining us and for taking your time to explain this very important topic that I know that a lot of people might be very interested in as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you. And that was our topic on body-worn cameras. We hope you check us out. We have other ATG podcasts that we've done last year. This year, we're coming in strong with a lot of new topics. So we invite you to check those out as well. Thank you so much.